underway. Thank you for your prompt return to the chamber, those online. So our next item up is our Regional Growth Management Update, and that's on page 34 of your agenda, and we have Miffy joining us to run through that.
Kia ora tātou. So as you know, the Regional Council has responsibilities in relation to growth. And as you know, we have differing levels of growth across our region. So our level of involvement is different across the region. This report sets out, so it gives you updates about what is happening, what all the councils are doing across the region in terms of growth. The key update there is that the Future Proof Strategy update to become a future development strategy under the National Policy Statement on Urban Development was endorsed by FPIC on Friday. So that will be coming to you to adopt in either June or July. So that is the key direction for our high growth sub-region of Waipa, Waikato, Matamata-Piako and Hamilton City. So we're now working on an implementation plan for how we are going to make the strategy happen. So it identifies the key strategy enablers and the key actions needed to implement the strategy, with water and transport infrastructure identified as key enablers. And it also identifies that affordable housing is an area where more work is needed, which I don't think will be a surprise to anyone. So the report also has an update on a likely change to the National Policy Statement on highly productive land, which is quite relevant for growth because we have a lot of highly productive land in our region, and a lot of it is around our settlements. So there is an interim definition of highly productive land as LUC 1, 2 and 3. And we are working on an update to the Regional Policy Statement to bring in maps. However, their central government has signalled potential changes to that national policy statement, one of which being the possible removal of LUC 3. So that will obviously have an impact on the mapping that we're going to be doing. So that amendment to the regional policy statement is potentially going to be pushed back, particularly the public engagement. So we just wanted to flag that with you, that is a likely consequence. Are there any comments or feedback on the report?
Take it as read, so
yeah.
No.
So my understanding of that 1, 2, 3, when it was the NPS, is that if it was already identified in a planning document, that area is excluded, so that development can occur. So no new rezoning of 1 and 2 and 3 at the moment. So yes. Is there any likelihood of changing that?
So you're correct that if it is identified in a strategy for the, within 10 years, like as being capable of being developed within 10 years, then it is excluded. There has been some signals from the government that they will be relooking at that interface of highly productive land and urban growth. What that will look like, we don't know yet.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? So we have the report be received. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Dunbar-Smith. All those in favour? Opposed? So carried. Thank you very much.
Great. You've got me for the next one as well.
Excellent. So this is our submission summary report, June 2024.
So as always, I will take this as read, but I do have a few updates to it. So for the Ngarawahia Hopu and Tupuri Structure Plan and Ngarawahia Town Centre Plan, we have provided some staff feedback on that, mostly around the resilience and how it interrelates with our drainage schemes around that area. We have had just an update today that some of the topo plan changes have been approved by council, so they will become operative shortly. There have been some new consultation opportunities. So there's been a draft minerals strategy produced by central government. Staff have reviewed and determined that there's no need for us to make a submission on that. Stats NZ have been doing some public consultation about modernising how they collect data for the 2028 census. Again, staff have reviewed that and are comfortable with that approach, so we have not put forward any feedback. There is a bill for local government service, water services preliminary arrangements. So that's sort of the replacement for the three waters. So it's the local waters done well. So that bill has been referred to select committee with submissions due on the 13th of June. So it's very focused on service delivery plans and CCOs, which really only affects territorial authorities and not us. So our concerns in our previous submissions were about the overlapping roles and the definition of stormwater. However, that's not an issue through this bill. It makes it clear that it does not overlap with our role and does not intersect with our responsibilities for natural wetlands, and it defines stormwater as being in an urban area and owned or operated by a territorial authority or a CCO. So we don't feel that a submission is needed on this one, but we will keep an eye out for the next bill that comes out. And just today we have had a couple of consultations come out from NZTA around intelligent transport systems, design standards, and around public transport design guidance for articulated buses. So we will be having a look at those, but it's unlikely they'll need to come up to council. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, Tracy.
If I can just make one comment in paragraphs 6, 7 and 8 of the report, we talk about, don't know what its acronym is yet, but we'll call it the RMA number 1 bill. So this was introduced into the House, not into the Primary Production Select Committee, as I wrote on line 8, my late entry into the report as I was reviewing it. So it was introduced into the House last week, about an hour before I reviewed this report to get it in the agenda. So submissions will close on the 30th of June to that bill. The matters that are identified are in A through to F there. Previously, the government had talked about Te Mana o Te Wai and the application of Te Mana o Te Wai. In the bill, it is referring to the hierarchy of obligations. So if you were looking for the words Te Mana o Te Wai and its application, it refers to those provisions of the NPS that set out the hierarchy of obligations. Government moved away from using the term Te Mana o Te Wai because people were making some assumptions based on what that was about. Really, Te Mana o Te Wai is the translation of the term hierarchy of obligations. So I just want to be very clear for councillors, if you are looking for where that amendment's coming through, it is one of the core tenets of the bill. Staff are working on that submission at the moment. We have the covering report that will go to council. The submission may make it into the council agenda or may come out a day or so after, just in terms of the timing. Things are pretty compressed at the moment.
Thank you, Tracy. You covered off my question.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take that off. Any other questions? I'm happy to move that the report be received. Thank you, Councillor Downard. All those in favour? Opposed?
Right.
So carried. Thank you.
Kia ora.
Right, that brings us to the end of our program. Thank you very much, councillors, for working our way through this in a very efficient time frame. And Tracy, I'll get you to close with the Karakia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Unuhia mai te uri tapanui, ki wātea, ki a māma, te ngākau, te tēnana, te hiningaro. E te ara takatū, koe rā I rongo, I whakairia ake ki runga, ki a tīnā, haumi e hui e taiki.
Thank you very much. So we're going to jump straight into the Biodiversity Accord workshop. Sorry, no? Oh, sorry, meeting closed. Yes, I'll close the meeting. Meeting closed at